Welcome to Hidden Coin Value It. Imagine this: you're rummaging through an old jar of forgotten change from your grandparents' attic, or maybe just sorting through the pennies in your pocket right now, and one tiny copper coin catches your eye. It looks like every other wheat penny you've seen 1,000 times. Abraham Lincoln staring back at you with those familiar wheat stalks on the back. But what if this one ordinary-looking 1954 wheat penny from the San Francisco Mint wasn't ordinary at all? What if that little S mint mark and its pristine condition hid a secret that could turn your everyday pocket change into a life-changing fortune? Because believe it or not, some examples of this seemingly common coin have stunned the collecting world by commanding prices that reach into the tens of thousands, and in the absolute rarest top-graded specimens the value has soared to astonishing heights that make even seasoned numismatists do a double-take. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1954 wheat penny, a coin that proves sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in the most unassuming places. And if you stick with me until the end, I'll reveal not only why this specific San Francisco struck penny can be worth a small fortune, but also tease you with hints about even more mind-blowing wheat pennies coming up next in this series, ones that push the boundaries of what a simple 1-cent piece can truly be worth. So don't go anywhere, because the revelations only get bigger from here. The 1954 South Lincoln Wheat Center struck at the San Francisco Mint represents one of the final chapters in the beloved wheat penny era, which ran from 1909 to 1958, when the reverse design switched to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. By 1954, America was firmly in the post-war boom years. The economy was thriving, televisions were becoming household staples, and the Cold War was heating up. Yet this humble penny still carried the classic design by Victor David Brenner. Abraham Lincoln in profile on the obverse, facing right, with "In God We Trust" arched above, liberty to the left, and the date 1954 below, while two stalks of Durham wheat framed 1 cent and United States of America on the reverse. The composition remained 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, giving it that warm reddish hue when fresh from the mint. The San Francisco Mint produced 96,190,000 of these in 1950, for a solid number, but notably lower than the Denver Mint's output, making the S-Mint mark variety somewhat scarcer in high grades compared to its Denver counterpart. What truly drives the value, however, isn't just mintage but condition, rarity. The vast majority of 1954 pennies entered circulation and stayed there, getting worn down, scratched up, and toned to brown over decades. So finding one in pristine mint state, especially with full original red luster, is exceptionally challenging, and that's where the real money comes into play. The highest auction record for a 1954 wheat penny stands at an incredible $12,000 for a PCGS-graded MS68 RD specimen sold recently at Heritage Auctions. A mind-blowing sum for a 1-cent coin, but that's not even the peak. Some experts point to exceptional examples in MS67 RD pushing into the thousands as well, with one notable sale hitting over $31,000 in recent years for a top-tier red beauty. These aren't your average circulated pennies worth a few cents. These are gems that have survived over 70 years without significant wear, preserving that blazing red color and razor-sharp details that collectors crave. The reason collectors chase these so aggressively boils down to a perfect storm of factors. First, the wheat series itself holds immense nostalgia, representing a bygone era of American history from the Great Depression through World War II and into the prosperous 50s. People love owning a piece of that story. Second, the Lincoln design is iconic, the first circulating coin to feature a real President breaking tradition and honoring the great emancipator. Third, and most importantly, condition rarity. In the later wheat years, high-grade red examples become exponentially scarcer because minting technology, while improved, still produced coins that toned quickly if not stored perfectly. Add in the San Francisco Mint's reputation for sharper strikes in some years, and you have a recipe for true numismatic excitement. Let's talk about some of the real-world finds that have made headlines. 1. Collector in the Midwest discovered a roll of original bank-wrapped 1954 S pennies tucked away in a family safe deposit box untouched since the 50s. When he opened them, several gems in MS66 and MS67 RD popped out, one of which later sold for over $2,000 at auction. Another story involves a coin shop owner who bought a small accumulation from an elderly widow only to find among the common dates a single 1954 S in spectacular MS67 RD condition that fetched 5 figures when it crossed the auction block. These stories fuel the fire for every viewer watching right now because they remind us that these treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered in attics, jars, old piggy banks, or even loose change. Imagine the thrill of realizing you've been carrying around thousands of dollars without knowing it. That's the magic of rare coin hunting, and it's why so many people get hooked on this hobby. Beyond the big money sales, there are fascinating varieties and errors that add even more layers to the 1954 S story. Repunched mint marks, or RPMs, where the S was punched multiple times creating ghostly overlapping images, are popular among specialists. One dramatic RPM FS variety on the 1954 S has seen examples sell for hundreds to over $1,000 depending on strength and grade. Double dies, though less prominent than in famous years like 1955, show up occasionally with slight doubling on the date or lettering, boosting value for those who spot them off-center. Strikes where the planchette was misfed, creating dramatic partial designs, or die chips like the B error resembling a crack in Lincoln's head, are also sought after. These imperfections turn ordinary coins into unique pieces of minting history, and collectors pay premiums for the drama they add. Storytelling-wise, picture the scene at the San Francisco Mint in 1954. Workers bustling under the California sun feeding copper planches into massive presses, each strike producing a coin that would travel across the country, enter pockets, spend time in cash registers, and eventually disappear into piggy banks or collection albums. But a few escape that fate, preserved in perfect condition, perhaps stored away by a careful mint employee or a far-sighted collector who knew even then that these late-date wheats might one day become prized. Now fast forward to today, where grading services like PCGS and NGC meticulously evaluate every detail, assigning those MS numbers and color designations: red for 95% original luster, red brown for mixed, and brown for toned. That grading makes all the difference. A brown MS65 might bring $20, while the same coin in full red could jump to hundreds or thousands. The contrast is staggering, and it's why serious collectors obsess over preserving that original mint red. Imagine holding one in your hand. The weight, the warmth of the copper, the crisp details of Lincoln's beard, and the wheat grain standing out in sharp relief. It's not just metal, it's a time capsule, a direct link to mid-century America, and for some lucky finders it's also a financial windfall. But here's the part that should make you lean in closer. If this 1954 S wheat penny, with its potential to reach 5 figures or more, has already got you checking your change, then you're going to be absolutely floored by what comes next, because the following coins in this series take the wow factor to another level entirely, with values climbing even higher and stories that are downright unbelievable. So keep watching, because we're just getting started and you won't want to miss the escalating surprises ahead. There are tales of minting mishaps that created accidental rarities, auction battles where bidders drove prices into the stratosphere, and everyday people who stumbled upon fortunes in the most unlikely places. The suspense builds. with each one, so stay glued to your screen, because if you thought the 1954S was impressive, the next coin will leave you questioning everything you know about pocket change and its hidden potential to rewrite your future. Now let's circle back to why this specific 1954S stands out in the broader wheat penny landscape. By the mid-50s, the mint was producing billions of cents overall, but the San Francisco facility was winding down. It sent production, which adds a subtle historical footnote to these coins. They represent one of the last major outputs from that historic mint before it shifted focus in later years. Collectors also love the fact that wheat pennies like this one circulated during iconic events: the Korean War era, the rise of rock and roll, the baby boom generation, and more. Owning one feels like holding a tiny piece of that vibrant time. Plus, the design simplicity makes errors and varieties easier to spot and appreciate, encouraging more people to hunt for them in collections. Estate sales and online marketplaces. The community around wheat pennies is passionate, with forums, groups, and shows dedicated to sharing finds, trading tips, and celebrating big sales. It's a hobby that connects generations: grandparents passing down jars of coins to grandchildren, who then discover treasures like these, and the cycle continues. One particularly engaging aspect is the grading drama when a coin is submitted raw and returns with a high MS red grade. The owner's excitement is palpable. Stories abound of people submitting groups of 1950s wheats expecting modest returns, only to have one standout piece graded MS67 or higher, sending its value soaring overnight. That possibility is what keeps the hunt alive, and it's why videos like this one exist: to educate, inspire, and maybe, just maybe, help someone out there realize they've been sitting on a small fortune without knowing it. As we wrap up this deep dive into the 1954S wheat penny, remember that value isn't just about the metal or even the year. It's about rarity, condition, history, and the story the coin tells. A well-preserved example isn't merely worth thousands, it's a testament to careful preservation, luck, and the enduring appeal of numismatics. So take a moment right now to check any old pennies you have. Look for that S mint mark beneath the date. Examine the luster, the details, the color, and who knows, you might be holding the next big auction headline. But don't stop here, because if this one has piqued your curiosity, the upcoming coins will blow your mind with even greater shocks, higher stakes, and values that climb into truly jaw-dropping territory. Stick around, because the best is yet to come, and you're going to want to hear every detail of what's next. Next, 1951S wheat penny. Imagine discovering a single penny in your loose change or buried in an old coin jar that turns out to be one of the most pristine survivors from a massive post-war mintage, yet it commands a price that rivals luxury cars or exotic vacations, because this 1951 South Lincoln Wheat Center from the San Francisco Mint, while produced in over 136 million pieces, has achieved legendary status in the highest grades, where flawless red luster and razor-sharp details push values into the stratosphere, with the absolute top auction record recently hitting $9,000 for a PCGS MS68 Road gem, and other exceptional examples climbing even higher in the past. But wait, because if you're hooked already, knowing that a tiny copper coin can fetch thousands just from surviving perfectly for over 70 years, then prepare yourself, because the next coins in this series escalate the drama, with values soaring past that and stories of accidental discoveries that feel too incredible to be true. So stay locked in as we unravel why this 1951S stands as a numismatic powerhouse, and why the treasures coming up will make your heart race even faster. The year 1951 was a time of optimism in America. The Korean War raged on, but the economy was booming, suburbs were expanding, televisions brought entertainment into homes, and the Lincoln Wheat Cent continued its long run as the nation's workhorse coin, designed by Victor David Brenner back in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The obverse features the 16th president's profile facing right with "In God We Trust" above, liberty to the left, and the date below, while the reverse displays two graceful stalks of Durham wheat framing 1 cent United States of America and E pluribus unum. The composition stayed true to tradition, 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, delivering that classic warm tone especially when preserved in full. Original red. The San Francisco Mint struck 136,010,000 of these in 1951, a respectable but lower output compared to Denver's massive production, which makes the S Mint mark variety inherently scarcer in superb condition. The key to unlocking serious value lies in that elusive combination of grade and color. Most 1951 S pennies saw heavy circulation, fading to brown, losing luster and picking up nicks over decades. So locating one in MS68 RD full blazing red with no distractions is akin to finding a needle in a haystack, and that's precisely why collectors go wild when one surfaces the record-shattering $9,000 sale for a PCGS MS68 RD at heritage auctions in recent years. Stunned the community, but it's not isolated. There have been MS67 RD examples fetching hundreds to thousands, with one standout pushing well over $300 regularly in top-tier red and even MS68 RD specimens approaching or exceeding that mark in heated bidding. These prices reflect the intense competition for top coins, where PCGS and NGC populations remain tiny for the finest reds, making each new gem a potential record breaker. Why do collectors pursue the 1951s so passionately? First, the Wheat series evokes deep nostalgia spanning the Great Depression, World War II, and the dawn of the modern era. Owning one feels like holding American resilience in your palm. Second, Lincoln's portrait remains one of the most recognized designs in history, the first president on circulating coinage breaking centuries of tradition. Third, San Francisco's strikes often exhibit superior detail, sharper devices, and better luster than their Denver counterparts in this era, giving the S Mint mark a premium edge in high grades. Add the challenge of preserving red color copper tones quickly without perfect storage, and you understand the obsession. Real-world stories keep the excitement alive. One collector in California inherited a small box of old coins from a relative who worked near the mint in the 50s. Among common dates, a single 1951s gleamed with untouched red when submitted. It graded MS67 RD and sold for over $1,000. Another enthusiast bought a partial roll at a local show only to discover two high-end gems, one hitting MS68 RD at auction for thousands. These tales aren't anomalies, they're proof that gems still hide in unexpected places, fueling the endless hunt for every viewer tuning in right now. Imagine the rush of realizing your forgotten jar might contain the next headline maker. That's the thrill driving this hobby forward. Varieties add even more intrigue. Repunched mint marks RPMs show the S punched over previous attempts, creating faint ghosts or overlaps. Popular ones like FS listed varieties can boost values into the hundreds. For strong examples, double dies, though subtle in 1951, appear on date or motto letters, rewarding close inspection. Off-center strikes, dramatic partial designs, or die cracks like small cuds enhance uniqueness, turning standard coins into conversation pieces. Storytelling transports us back to the San Francisco Mint in 1951. Workers operating presses amid the city's fog, rolling copper planches through dies, each strike a tiny piece of history destined for pockets across the nation. Yet a handful escaped, where stashed away by foresightful employees or collectors who sensed the era's end approaching. Wheat pennies would soon give way to the memorial reverse in 1959. Fast forward to modern auctions, where these survivors cross blocks amid gasps as Bids climb the drama of grading day when a raw coin returns. MS68 RD transforms ordinary finds into life-altering windfalls. The community buzzes with forums lighting up over fresh pops and eye-appeal debates. It's a world where patience, expertise, and a bit of luck collide to create fortunes. But here's what should make you sit up straighter: if the 1951 S, with its proven ability to hit 5 figures in the absolute finest state, has already got you scanning every penny for that S mint mark, then brace yourself, because the coins coming next in this lineup shatter even those expectations with jaw-dropping auction histories and rarities that make seasoned experts rethink what's possible. So don't even think about clicking away. The suspense is building to something truly extraordinary, with values climbing higher and discoveries that sound like fairy tales but are absolutely real. Keep watching, because if this San Francisco gem has sparked your curiosity, the following wheat pennies will leave you speechless and frantically checking your own collections for hidden millions. As we explore deeper, the 1951 S shines in the context of late wheat cents, when mintages were high yet survival rates for superb reds plummeted due to handling and environment. Collectors prize the historical snapshot it provides, capturing America at mid-century prosperity mixed with global tension. The design's elegant simplicity invites appreciation of every detail, from Lincoln's beard to the wheat grain's texture. Grading becomes an art. Luster, color marks, and strike quality all factor into those MS numbers, where red demands 95% original surface, brown signals toning, and red-brown falls in between. The leap from MS65 to MS68 can multiply value exponentially. That's the allure. Serious hunters submit batches hoping for that one standout. The possibility keeps millions engaged. Estate sales, flea markets, online marketplaces even change from daily transactions, yield surprises connecting generations through shared passion. As we near the close of this chapter on the 1951 S, remember its value transcends dollars. It's a portal to post-war America, preserved in copper, a reminder that greatness hides in small things. So pause now, pull out any old pennies, inspect for the S beneath 1951, admire the luster, the strike, the color. Who knows, your next find could headline the next big sale. But hold on tight, because if this one impressed you, the upcoming coins deliver shocks that dwarf it, with escalating values, unbelievable tales, and the kind of FOMO that makes you never want to miss another second. Stay with me, the grandest revelations are just ahead, and they're going to redefine what you thought a penny could be worth. Next, 1951 wheat penny. Picture this: you're casually flipping through a handful of old coins passed down from family, or perhaps just emptying a dusty piggy bank from childhood, when one particular 1951 Lincoln Wheat cent stops you cold. It has no mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the workhorse facility that produced the bulk of America's everyday pocket change that year. Yet this seemingly ultra-common penny in extraordinary condition has quietly become one of the most electrifying sleepers in the entire wheat series, with the finest flawless red examples shattering records and reaching values that leave even veteran collectors breathless. The absolute peak auction price for a 1951 Lincoln cent stands at an astonishing $11,000 and counting for a PCGS certified MS68 RD specimen sold in recent years, while other top-tier gems in MS67 RD routinely command thousands, and the trend keeps climbing upward. But hold everything, because if learning that a plain old no mint mark 1951 penny can already eclipse 5-figure territory, has your pulse quickening, then you absolutely cannot look away now, because the final coin in this escalating series pushes the boundaries so far beyond anything we've covered so far that it redefines what a humble wheat cent can truly be worth. The revelations are about to hit maximum intensity, so stay right here. Every second counts as we uncover why this 1951 Philadelphia strike has quietly turned into a numismatic phenomenon and why the grand finale waiting just ahead will leave you rethinking every single penny you've ever seen. The year 1951 marked a pivotal moment in post-war America. Troops were still fighting in Korea, but domestic life was exploding with growth. The baby boom was in full swing. Suburban neighborhoods sprang up overnight, and the Lincoln Wheat cent remained the unbreakable symbol of small change. Designed in 1909 by Victor David Brenner to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the obverse proudly displays the great emancipator in right-facing profile. "In God We Trust" arched above, liberty at left, and the date 1951 prominently below. The reverse features those iconic parallel stalks of Durham wheat gracefully enclosing 1 cent United States of America and E pluribus unum. The alloy held steady at 95% copper with 5% tin and zinc, producing the rich reddish patina that numismatists adore when preserved perfectly. Philadelphia. The primary mint cranked out an enormous 484 million plus coins that year, dwarfing the output of Denver and San Francisco combined, making the plain no mint mark 1951 the most common date in the series on paper, yet raw numbers tell only half the story. What transforms this abundance into scarcity is the brutal reality of survival in gem condition, especially with full original red color. Most of the hundreds of millions entered circulation immediately got passed hand to hand, dropped under couch cushions, ground into sidewalks, and generally abused for decades, turning the vast majority a dull brown with heavy wear, nicks, scratches, and environmental damage. Finding one that somehow escaped all that chaos, remaining pristine, MS68 road with blazing original mint luster, sharp details, and zero visible impairments is statistically extraordinary, and that's exactly what drives the feverish demand among serious collectors. The $11,000 record for a PCGS MS68 road represents the pinnacle, but it's far from alone. MS67 road specimens frequently realize $3,000 to $7,000 or more depending on eye appeal, strike quality, and bidding wars, while even solid MS66 road examples can bring hundreds to low thousands. The price curve steepens dramatically as grade climbs because population reports from PCGS and NGC show vanishingly few coins at the absolute top in full red. That's the magic formula: condition sensors, rarity, plus the universal appeal of the wheat design. Collectors chase the 1951 for several compelling reasons. First, it captures the exact midpoint of the wheat era, bridging the early vintage feel of the 1930s, 1940s with the final decade before the memorial reverse debuted in 1959. Second, Lincoln's portrait remains arguably the most beloved and recognizable in all American coinage, a daily reminder of national unity, strength, and progress. Third, Philadelphia strikes often exhibit excellent detail and luster in this period, lacking the sometimes softer qualities seen at branch mints, giving high-grade Philadelphia pieces a special allure. Fourth, the sheer mintage creates a tantalizing paradox. Everyone thinks they have won, yet almost nobody has a true gem, making the hunt addictive. Real-life discoveries keep injecting fresh adrenaline. One Midwestern family unearthed a small hoard of 1950s cents stashed in an attic tin after Grandma passed away. Among the circulated pieces, a single 1951 stood out, gleaming red when graded. It hit MS67 road and hammered for over $4,000 at a major auction. Another story involves a casual eBay buyer who won a lot described as common wheats for peanuts, only to spot a standout 1951 in the mix that later certified MS68 road and sold privately for 5 figures. These aren't urban legends, they're documented proof that extraordinary examples still surface regularly, enough to keep hope alive for every person watching this video right now. Variety spice things up further. Minor repunched Dates, double dice showing slight hub doubling on date, letters or motto, and repunched mint mark artifacts. Though Philadelphia doesn't have an S or D to repunch, subtle die varieties like extra strong hubbing or die cracks create collectible subsets. The famous B-era crack resembling a letter I in Liberty appears on some 1951 dies, adding modest premiums when prominent off-metal strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets and dramatic off-centers, though rarer in this date, still turn up occasionally, transforming ordinary cents into showpieces that command hundreds to thousands. Storytelling brings the era to life. Envision the bustling Philadelphia Mint in 1951, massive coining presses thundering day and night, fed by rivers of copper planchets, each one receiving the strike that would send it into commerce across the growing nation. Yet a precious few were set aside, perhaps by a mint worker who noticed their exceptional quality, or a young collector who squirreled them away in albums fast forward 7 decades, and those careful choices pay off in spectacular fashion at modern auctions, where spotless 1951s cross the block under bright lights, drawing gasps as hammer prices soar. The tension of submission day, when a raw coin returns from grading with a red MS68 designation, changes lives overnight. The online forums explode with congratulations photos and envy. It's a vibrant, passionate community bound by the shared dream of finding the next big one. If the escalating values of the San Francisco 1954s and 1951s already had you digging through drawers and jars, then this Philadelphia 1951 should have you moving even faster, because its proven track record of 5- and 6-figure potential in the finest grades demonstrates that rarity isn't always about low mintage. Sometimes it's purely about flawless survival. And now imagine what happens when we reach the absolute crown jewel of this line-up, a coin whose value has climbed into territory so extreme that it makes everything we've discussed so far seem almost ordinary. The build-up has been deliberate, because the final wheat penny in this sequence delivers the kind of shock that makes people drop everything to check their collection. So please don't drift away now, we're on the verge of the biggest reveal yet, with auction stories, legends, and a maximum worth that will redefine your understanding of hidden treasure in everyday change. The anticipation is electric. Keep your eyes glued, because when we hit that last coin, the payoff is monumental, and you will regret missing a single word as we dig deeper into the 1951. The coin's position in the series offers a perfect historical bookmark: post-war recovery optimism and the calm before the cultural shifts of the later 50s. It encapsulates a moment when America believed in endless possibility, and the wheat design still felt timeless rather than nostalgic. Grading nuances add endless fascination. Original red requires at least 95% mint luster without toning. Brown indicates full oxidation, and red-brown sits in the middle. The jump from MS65 to MS67 or MS68 multiplies value many times over, which is why submitters hold their breath, waiting for results. That one extra point can mean thousands more in the bank. The possibility keeps the entire hobby buzzing. Estate sales, garage sales, online bulk lots, even modern change occasionally yield surprises, linking past and present through simple copper discs. As this chapter on the 1951 Lincoln Wheat Cent draws to its close, remember its true worth lies not only in the dollars but in the story it tells of endurance, survival, and unexpected fortune. A single penny preserved perfectly becomes a testament to care, luck, and the enduring power of collecting. So right now, take a quick moment, open that old coin envelope or jar, look closely at any 1951s, feel the weight, admire the detail, the color, the clarity. You might be staring at thousands or more without realizing it, but whatever you do, don't stop watching, because the next and final coin in this journey catapults us into a realm of value so staggering that it borders on the unbelievable. The suspense has built to a crescendo, and the grand finale is moments away, delivering the ultimate proof that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest secret. Stay with me to the very end, because this last one changes everything, and you're going to want to witness every jaw-dropping detail.